So why don't we call this meeting to order? Welcome, everyone. I don't think we need to do introductions. I mean, does everybody know everyone here? So I think so. Okay. Call the meeting to order. Why don't we start with public comment? And we're going to hand. How do you want to hand? And you, is there? If you folks want to, is there anything you want to say during public comment? Well, feel free at any time, just so you know. And we're glad that you're here today. Thanks.
We like the pictures on the walls.
You do?
Yeah, they look nice.
Oh, out there?
Yes, in the terminal.
I was going to say, I didn't see any.
Yeah.
All right, no one for public comment. We'll go to MCOA Overstar Award for Bob Anderson. Who's going to take that? Thor, I think.
Please. Oh, yes. As you folks know, last month we were contacted by the state of Minnesota to tell us that Bob had received the award from the state of Minnesota, the very prestigious Jim Overstar Award, which of course is with us today, and it's for a lifelong work of Minnesota aviation and dedication, and it's very well deserved. It's a great honor for the family, and we're very happy you're here. Thank you for being here. Fact of the matter is that all of us in this room wouldn't be here for what we're doing today if it wasn't for Bob's efforts over decades and decades on the airport. And that's a fact. The airport, the terminal building, on a personal basis, my family wouldn't be here today without Bob's efforts, and it's never been forgotten. Bob was incredibly, involved with MCOA. He was one of the founders of MCOA. Also, LASAC, Local Service Action Committee. Bob was one of the founders of that, and most importantly, I think, was the EAS, the Essential Air Service Program, the federal program that he gave testimony to the Congress promoting it, and we wouldn't be where we are today with the airline if those efforts hadn't been put forth by Bob so many years ago. So I promise you, we miss him and think about him every day, and we wish he was here. We do, but it's a wonderful award, and it's a great honor for the family. So just thank you very, very much. Fantastic. Again, I just can't say enough. Unbelievable.
Anyone else? Well, I certainly had a long haul with Bob Anderson. I started as a commissioner in 92 when we were first elected. And Bob, at that time, couldn't. I think Boise had a policy where you couldn't be an elected official and be in his position. But he never quit being interested, and certainly at the airport commission here. And so when I started at the airport commission, and we used to meet, upstairs.
Upstairs.
Right? Yeah, I'll never forget that. And going to that first meeting, but Bob was so knowledgeable on all the aspects of what goes on here, and not only here, but at the state level, which benefited us over the years. Nobody can replace him. He made me the vice chair when he was chairman, and he never missed a meeting. I never had to take over a meeting. In all those years, he never missed a single meeting. Now, where do you find that kind of dedication? And it wasn't just that; he was dedicated to everything.
It was
I
Carol.
don't know how many years he went without ever missing a meeting.
Yeah.
But I think one of the first ones was when we lost our house to the fire, and he was
Yes.
very upset because he missed a meeting.
And the two cats. Oh gosh, Carol and I have two wild cats that wandered in over the years. I know how I remember him saying all about that. But I gotta tell you this little story. We were looking at the feasibility of possibly building a new airport here because Bob was there for the last time. Back in when was that?
78.
70s? And we have pictures of that. So and we're wondering. I mean, is it really feasible? But to make a long story short, Mark, the new CEO of Boise, Mark, can't think of his last name. Colson came in and wanted to meet us. So Bob and I can't remember if there might have been a couple other people, but Bob and I went up there and we had been talking about the feasibility of an airport. But when we sat down with this guy, this Mark, he is all business. Great guy, I mean, but just a straight shooter. And he looked at Bob and I and said, well, here's what I need. I need three things. I need a quality workforce, which I think I've got. Because he said, my peers are laughing at me for buying this. You know, all his other operations were not quite the same as a paper mill. But he said, you know, I grew up in the paper industry in Michigan. My dad worked in a paper mill. And that's how I went to college. So he said, I understand the paper industry. These three things I need. The second one was, an adequate, affordable wood supply, because we were looking at Cook at the time, remember? And he knew that would be competition. And he said, the third thing I need is a full-service airport with regularly scheduled airline service. If I lose any one of those three, I'm out of here. We walked out of there with Bob and I, like, I guess we're going to build a new airport, you know, and it's a good thing we did. And to their credit, they've done a great job here too. And one of their competitors, I wish Bob were here to see that, dropped out down in the southern states there, so giving them less competition. So I think they're going to be here for the long haul. Hopefully we can keep them here. But anyway, I could tell so many stories about my experience with Bob, as everyone can. But they were always positive. I never had, I can't remember ever having any confrontations on anything with Bob. I mean, we all, you know, he was always good about at least asking me, what do you think of this or that? And so we got along great, and I certainly miss him. And I miss him sitting in this chair, I'll tell you. There's nobody more dedicated. So, thank you. You know.
Think of the connection between the Anderson family and Boise/PCA today. You know, the next generation, and so people involved, all intertwined in the community.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Maybe I can, okay,
Please.
because this was actually sent to Thor in the airport commission. Dear Mr. Einerson, and this is from the Minnesota Council of Airports, Mark Knopf is his last name.
That is correct.
And he sent this letter. I apologize how late this award was sent out, which we're going to present here shortly, the James Oberstar Award. I apologize for how late this award was sent out. The plan was to hand it out in the 2021 Annual Airports Conference next spring with the other awards. However, the board has decided to cancel the 2021 in-person conference due to the uncertainty of COVID and et cetera. The Oberstar Award is the highest individual honor bestowed by MCOA. Information about your Mr. Anderson has been posted to COA's website. If you have any questions, please call, and left the number, and Mark signed that. And what an award! I mean,
Well deserved.
all I can say. You want to? Would you go ahead and present?
Oh, Thor, would you?
Please. I want to do sure. I want to step up.
Yeah, we're
Sure. Please.
I like We have a Minnesota Chamber one out of this class, and it's all cracked. It made it through the whole.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So you can read everything on it, but it's just all crackled. So they're very hardy.
We couldn't be prouder of it. It'll never be the same one.
Never.
Well, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for your guys' continued efforts as well. Challenges are, like you said, continuous,
Yeah.
right? So,
It's great.
thanks for your service and
We sure had a nice
making it
time.
a better place.
I got to tell this one last story. The last meeting we had when Bob was here, I came in late because I had a meeting at the.
You wait? No.
Hard to believe. So I come trotting in, and gee, Bob was sitting right here between these two, all by himself, and I thought, gee, they must have set the conference up different or something. I didn't want to interfere, so I went way to the other side. Went through the whole meeting, and Bob was all by himself. And I found out, no, he was just sitting there, no one sat by. I said, Bob, if I'd known that, I'd have sat by you. You look so lonely. He laughed. And Carol and I went to Minneapolis, and then we got the sat. That was the last time I talked to him. I'll never forget that. He was just a great guy. So,
Thank you all.
Thank you. We love you guys.
Very much.
Take care.
Appreciate it. Nice job.
Oh, no, don't do that. Be careful.
I'm giving it to someone else to carry. Somebody got my stronger food.
you know,
Say again?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Happy New Year.
Whenever you want. It's the word that hung up over there.
Take care of it. I'll talk to them. Thank you.
So,
Okay.
yeah, there was actually
Cool.
two that canceled. There was one for Bob and one for us.
All right.
Or the airport.
All right. Minutes, November 25th. Were included.
I'll move on the minutes presented.
You got a motion. Motion by Paul and second by Wolf to approve the minutes as presented. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We've got the financial statements.
Yeah, what do we got? Let's see. Like this.
Everything look good, Kyra?
Yeah, everything's pretty standard.
Okay.
I will note one thing on phase 3 runway of the federal administration, or Federal Aviation Administration for the $23,396.04. That was actually approved back in May, but for whatever reason, the check never went out or something happened. I don't know what happened. So that check was cut right away because that is for our reimbursable agreement with the FAA. So I had that check sent out last week or the week prior.
So we're good to go then.
Yes. So it was already pre-approved, but I put it in there. So.
I'm always waiting for my check from Carol. That never comes in either. He always tells me she sent me one.
I got notice last night, or sometime in the middle of the night, that my stimulus check is gonna be posted January 4th. Already.
Wow.
Yeah, they said there's something already in their accounts now.
Yeah.
So,
2,000?
no, 600.
600, okay.
So, Mr. Chair, I would move to pay airport commission bills and, let's see, airport reconstruction phase 3 bill, and then add better aviation one that Kyra just talked about, even though it had already been approved before. So I would move to pay.
There's been a motion by Commissioner McBride. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Nevenin. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Harley was aye.
Okay, thank you, Harley. So motion carries unanimously. Then we'll move on to the engineer's report. Welcome.
They're on the big screen.
Good morning.
Two big smiles there. That's nice.
Is Bob on as well?
I don't see him.
I don't see him.
Yeah, we haven't heard from him.
Okay, so is there no terminal update today then?
Sean said he was going to be on.
But did Sean say an email that Bob was going to be on? I think that's what he said.
In Sean's email, he said Bob and Chelsea would give the updates. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't.
She didn't get.
And
She didn't
Bob
get the
sent
memo.
me a memorandum.
He did.
Bob sent
Okay.
me the memorandum. So
Let me just
Chelsea,
make sure that.
Chelsea, we like you best anyway. So
Yeah,
you
of course,
can
he
do
can
just fine. Tell Bob we said that.
I will.
You want me to call him?
I'm wondering if he just didn't get the WebEx memo, so I'll just send him a message real quick.
Okay. Good, then we can give him a hard time.
I'll try and get a hold of him too. He's not online.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you. So I guess we'll start with the airside stuff this morning. So we'll start with the phase 1 update, the north end of runway 1331. There was no work performed this month, and we are waiting on the final acceptance and the punch list completion in spring of 2021 with KGM. So we'll be waiting that in spring. As for phase 2, again, there was no work completed this month, but looking ahead, we will have the final tree clearing of 10 acres, and that will be completed in January. Depending on conditions, they may push it if the ground's not as frozen as they'd like, so we'll see on that. But yeah, so they'll be doing some tree clearing in December or in January up there for that. And then Ariel, do you want to discuss weather balloon updates?
Nothing really. We completed most of here this fall, so work was complete. I did have a question about, did they add any site lighting? I've sent a bunch of emails to MnDOT asking if they would fund it at the state level. It's because FAA would not fund the lighting. They saw it as an upgrade. I didn't know if Weather Service went ahead and added anything, or if you guys added anything on your end.
No, the last time was that discussion was on that email chain, sharing that the feds were not going to participate. And frankly, I didn't realize that there was a discussion with MnDOT, which is great. But no lighting has been added to the structure.
Yeah, I when we got the no from the FAA, I reached out to MnDOT, and that was maybe 2 months ago now, and I've sent several emails asking any update on this, and I haven't heard anything. So just wondered.
No.
Yeah, I know, surprise.
They're on time. Yeah.
What type of lights are they? Sorry.
Parking and security, but mostly just for safety, because when we built the project, and frankly I should have thought about it, is that it's a very dark corner and there's no lighting there at all. So you come out of this real bright, sea of lights, i.e. 2nd Avenue East, the airport lights, the parking lot, airport lights, etc. And wherever that conversion is from 2nd Avenue East to Conroe 108, right in the worst area, and we have Weather Bureau staff walking back and forth and working right in that area. It's literally pitch black. So I've been working with the SEH team and coming up with some lighting for that area.
Yeah, so
history. Brian and I had to argue with our highway engineer, Doug Grindle, when we redid the road construction on here. And we told him we wanted to get rid of all the wires and have, good lighting. And Doug was very reluctant to do it, but he did it. And obviously it turned out even he admitted that it was the right thing to do out here. Go ahead, Brian.
Ariel, along with the lights, was there conversation about putting some security fencing around that building?
No, the fencing was taken out of play pretty early on. They wanted to do the security cameras instead. That was the direction given.
Okay, well, continue, please.
Yep, so that's really all I had as an update is knowing there's no lights out there, I'll keep asking the questions, and maybe one day we'll just put the photo eye on the building for $500 and get it done, sort of thing. The site lighting is a little bit more expensive, but the getting it on the building is not. So anyway, there is some remaining work left in the spring. They've got some final cleanup outside, way back in the woods. There's still some removals back there. And then just final cleaning in the spring. So we'll touch base on the project again then. Back to you, Chelsea.
All right.
Ryan, did you have anything?
No.
Okay.
I was just thinking it's kind of ironic that, I think it'd be a federal building, NOAA or whatever.
Yes.
And they back out and shift it to the state. Well, if I'm the state, you know what I say?
Yep.
It's your building, buddy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting.
And it's literally a really important safety issue.
Well, and it is, and also it's a unique building, and I think
it's part of our national structure. Exactly.
Right, and it attracts interest from people.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the wrong people. So
yeah.
I can't believe that the feds would not put lighting and fencing on it. But
yeah, the FAA saw it as an upgrade to their the pre-construction activities. They thought that was considered an upgrade from what they had before, and we said that we tried to argue no, it's really just restoring it to the condition they had before with all the lighting, from the air side. But they didn't bite, I guess.
Interesting. May I make a quick point?
Absolutely.
You can see us, correct?
Yep.
Okay. I like the format where we can't see ourselves. This is cool. This is much easier, isn't it? Right? Otherwise, when you're looking in the camera, you're always going like, man, am I really that fat? Or like, this is great. It's much better.
Am I left-handed?
Yeah, what?
It shifts everything.
Yeah.
It's always better for us not to have to watch us embarrass ourselves.
Exactly. Thank you. Patience.
All right, well, please continue then.
All right, jumping into runway reconstruction for phase 3, which will be next summer. We are coordinating a pre-construction meeting with KGM. It'll be a virtual meeting and it'll be in January, I think the 11th. And this will be to coordinate project items such as the submittals, review their schedule, and go over some expectations that we have with KGM. The work is projected to start in late May of 2021. And one of the items that we're working on right now is the temporary easement for the temporary fence on the old Spill Day property. So we're going to work with the attorney and hopefully get that all figured out so we can move that fence.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think so. Is there anything else anyone had questions with phase 3, phase 2, and phase 1?
Can I ask a question?
Yep, absolutely.
Chelsea, when they do phase 3, KGM is stockpiled all the material across the 332. Are they planning on putting the big metal plates and running across that? Because they've got real big trucks, and I was just wondering if they're going to do what the last contractor did on the end of the runway to protect that roadway.
Yeah, that's a good question. We are in the process of getting them an alternative haul route to our project where we do cross the road. So yeah, we will have that discussion in our pre-construction meeting with them to ensure that they do the metal plates. I'm not positive if they're planning on using the off-roading trucks like Uland did. We'll have to ask that as well. They might just be using regular semi-trucks. So we'll see on that, but either way, we should have something to protect that road there. I agree.
Yeah, that's a great.
Well, they already have a half a dozen of the big off-road trucks sitting over there. They have a lot of their big equipment sitting there, and I'm sure that's because so they can get started before the road limits come off in the spring. So those trucks are sitting there, and I'm sure they're going to be using them for hauling.
Yep. Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really great question, and obviously the 332 traffic count is much higher than 108, and obviously much larger trucks at a much greater speed. Something they plug in. Knowing the people that we're going to be working with during this project, I would think that unless we push on that, which is a good idea. Chelsea's smiling. Thank you. And yes, good. Yes. So we'll make sure we push on that. And let's not forget that we eventually, in the near future, that we need to gel the letter up through the Airport Commission and through the airport entity so these folks we're working with on this project realize, this is it, right? We're not gonna.
Yep.
You understand?
I do, and I have begun crafting that letter. It's actually with Sean for review, so it'll be to you guys soon.
Great, thank you.
I don't think those trucks are going to be able to go down that road by Early's either.
Really?
I don't think that road's going to stand up to those big trucks.
They're gonna have to they'll have to rebuild it. They're gonna have to.
They'd have to redo that road.
They're going to have to have an agreement to redo that road when they're done because it's going to.
Is the county on that road?
It's a county road, yeah.
Yeah. I'm guessing these county folks can cut them a deal.
Yeah.
Somehow we'll make it work.
Yeah. And I think
By the way, this isn't the first road that's been destroyed, right, Brian?
Yeah.
County's had to redo.
Yeah.
It's all part of progress.
Yeah, it is.
And I think.
But I just want to throw that in there because that's going to happen.
Yeah, sure.
Those big trucks are going to, especially if they do it before the road posties go off, it's going to be.
Yeah. Well, to Walt's point, I mean, those roads are never built for that kind of heavy stuff, but I mean, what are you going to do? We got to get it done. Right. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, we'll push them to discuss with the county on some sort of agreement with that. Because I do agree. I'm not positive they'll be working before the road limits are off. Our project isn't set to start till after Labor Day or Memorial Day, I think it is.
Memorial Day.
Well, of course, the frost doesn't go out here till July, so.
Right.
And
so,
there is Bob Coors.
Hey, good morning.
Yeah.
Rough night, huh?
Yeah.
Did she wake you up?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Were you out there killing some livestock today? What are you doing, Bob? You're late.
Lots of snow.
Yes.
No, I had
we're
some
not.
computer issues, so sorry for the delay.
No worries.
Well, anyway, back to our subject. I certainly appreciate, Thor and Brian, because they're out there all the time and see this. You're the only other one that's here all the time. I don't know why you just don't get a house and live here, but
I've
you
thought
spent
about
enough time here last year, so. All right. Okay, well, now we can't talk about Bob because he's here, so we'll just.
Yeah, so we're done with it. We're not beating on cruising.
All right, so if there's nothing else on the runway and taxiway side, I'll jump into the funding grants. So for the bonding bill that was officially awarded, we will have a meeting with MnDOT in January to cover the coordination items for that. We do have to do the pre-agreement packet, but I believe for the terminal building you had to do a design report, and we do not have to do that because we're only doing pavement. So that'll be a nice, we won't have to do that large packet at least. So, but we'll be coordinating a meeting with them to discuss what we have to pull together and what they're kind of expecting in January.
Chelsea, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What was the total amount again? Bonding?
Kyra, do you remember?
I can't.
2 point. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was 1.8.
1.8.
Yeah,
I think.
that's all good.
I think we asked initially it was 2, and then we dropped it to 1.8, if I recall correctly.
Anyway, it will be appreciated very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Never enough.
No. And that leaves us for that state companion grant for the 2019 AIP grant. Just to refresh your memory for that, MnDOT did not allocate any money for that phase 2 project because they thought that the bond funds would be available. So we sent a letter to MnDOT asking if they would consider to reimburse their typical share, and they said that they could maybe do it, but it'd be tight, so they want to kind of have a meeting for that. So is this something that you guys would want us to kind of do a joint meeting with that bonding bill and also discuss this state companion grant at the same time?
Yep, I think so. Sure. Everybody okay? Yep.
Sounds good. So we'll just combine those meetings then and hopefully get an answer from them so we can get some money for the phase 2 grant as well.
Before we leave the road issue over there, I think one of the things we probably should do is notify our highway engineer so that he doesn't get a big surprise. He's really good to work with. In fact, he agreed to stay with us for another year, didn't he, Brian?
Yep. Yeah, so, maybe invite him to that meeting if that's necessary.
Who is that?
Dave Reimer.
He was in Boise and then he came here and picked that up for us. Yeah, great guy. And Dave would be happy to be there. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
That way he won't get a big surprise.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, they're both his roads anyway, 332 land.
Yeah.
It used to be state, but it's county now, so
Yeah.
332 land, the other road.
And then the new stimulus bill. Sorry, go ahead. Did someone say something? Okay. The new stimulus bill was recently approved, and the effect that for INL is yet to be determined. We're waiting on the FAA determination on how that funding will be allocated to you guys. So it could be through operational reimbursement, or they could also cover 100% funding. So once we know that, we can better determine which projects are a priority for next year. Which kind of leads us into the CIP updates. I think most are the same, and we'll obviously discuss these a little further once we know how that funding is going to be allocated. And one thing that we did add is the SRE plow acquisition as a high priority. But everything else, I believe, remains the same. And then
I think Thor was pushing that. Yeah.
Yes.
On the plow is a priority.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the plow, yes.
Good.
For public involvement and stakeholder engagement, MnDOT did come up and inspect the runway taxiway reconstruction phase 2 project as part of the MAPA award that was submitted for Uland. So they were up there on the 15th inspecting the pavement. And for upcoming dates, we have the Phase 2 project meeting that will be for the tree clearing. We'll have a meeting with Ewan before that starts back up in January. And then Phase 3, we'll have the pre-construction meeting on January 11th. And that'll be virtual.
Let's plan right now. How do you want to contact Dave Reimer so he can virtual into that meeting on the 11th? Do you have his contact information?
I do not.
You know, if not, why don't I just have him contact you?
That's fine. I can call and we can.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Let's do that. All right. Thank you.
And he'll be glad to purchase.
Thank you. I'll get to that. If I may interject, also, Kyra shared something with me that I misplaced in my brain. The McCoa Award for the project, and you read the award. I'll read yours. Is that okay? Good. Yeah. Thanks. It says, "Dear Mr. Pavlik, I apologize for all this what was sent out. The plan was to hand these out at the 2021 annual airports conference next spring with the other awards. However, the board has decided to cancel the 21 in-person conference because of the uncertainty of COVID. Again, congratulations for being selected as the Minnesota Council of Airports Key Commercial Service Airport Project of the Year 2019. Information for your project has been posted below." Thank you, Mark Knopf. So, congratulations to the SEH team. Thank you for all the good work, and that's wonderful. Excellent.
All right.
Awesome. I think that's it for me, unless anyone has any questions.
Well, good job. Thank you.
Of course. And I think we can move over to Bob's side. If
Yeah, now we're going to go to the bad side there, right?
The dark side.
The dark side, yeah.
Our side.
Bob, if we didn't give you a hard time, you'd think we were mad at you. So
Right.
good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Take it away.
All right. Did everybody get the memo in your packet that I prepared?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So I'll jump in. Phase 1, we don't have any items there other than really the jet bridge, which I have it categorized under Phase 2, and I'll get to that. But so Phase 1 items are complete. The generator, the 5-year warranty is now in place for the generator, and the expiration date on that is September 5th, 2022. So please make note of that. And they are coming up to make the necessary repairs on January 6th or 7th, and they were talking about a 2-hour load test, and we reminded them that it's a 4-hour load test, and so they're going to complete that at that time as well. One other thing I have reminded them to get is the protocol for testing for the airport, so that you can do that on your own in the future. So those are the 3 outstanding items on the generator.
Thor, what are your thoughts? We got it fixed now?
Yeah, we're going to have it fixed, okay? And a lot of credit goes to Bob and his efforts. It's been a difficult journey. We're not quite there yet, but we'll get there. We will.
What a long
road. Yeah, all the players in the mix, and the manufacturer, and the subs, and the install folks, and the follow-up, etc. So credit to Bob and all the effort. That's a lot of work. Thank you.
You bet. Yeah, it's been a lot of back and forth and pushing, but I feel like we're getting to the finish line on this one, hopefully. Boiler number 2. I did put in my notes that the step-down regulator was installed. I believe that was not installed. Thor, do you know? I believe what happened is JK Mechanical has the step-down regulator there, but they did not install it. Do you? That is correct?
I have phenomenal news. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. First of all, let me knock on wood.
Yeah.
So, they send up the great minds, okay? These guys, their heads were actually larger than everything, okay? And they went in there with all the testing equipment, all the computers, and they had wires, and they had laser beams going, right? And one of the gentlemen looked inside of the boiler, and he literally said, "Oh, look at that. There's 2 loose wires." And he literally reached in there with a screwdriver, he gave them each about a half of a turn. He goes, "That'll fix it." And from the factory, from day one, that has been the issue.
Yeah.
Yep. So we are up and running at 100%. It's wonderful. We even set the parameters on the computers to make number 2 catch up. All right, it has years to run. Okay, we got some use out of number 1, so we're gonna lean on number 2 for a while and see how she works, and it's working well.
Even it out. Yeah.
Even it out, yeah. So just fantastic news. I received the news immediately, and I literally just dropped my pen like, you've got to be kidding.
Did you get his name, by the way? In case
We have all his information. We have everything documented.
Anytime we have a problem, he sounds like a person we should.
Yes, I think it's a really good idea. Yeah.
It took him 2 full days to find it though, too.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point too. Yeah.
2
Two days. That's true. Yeah. Excellent point. Thank you.
Yeah, but what was happening is it would start up and it would move enough to make the connection, lose the connection, and it would shut down.
There were literally 2 little tiny low voltage, wires. I mean, just nothing. Literally just the clips were loose. He just literally took a screwdriver and went like that.
Someone forgot to take them when they were
built on Thursday or Friday or something. A car assembly line. I don't know.
So Thor, can you verify for me then that it has been working the whole time?
It has been working.
Okay.
And not to digress too far, but of course, with my proximity of my home and my bedroom, I can look right across and see which stack, if the wind is right,
which ones are running.
Which ones are running.
Yeah.
Never tell he's right. Yes, it is. So,
Well, that's awesome. That's been really good news.
Yeah, honestly, it's wonderful.
Wow,
So back to the step-down regulator, though. Don't believe that was installed, and I think the part is here.
Okay,
So if you could just check on that, Thor.
I will.
Okay. And the reason they didn't install it was because they found the loose connections, and they believed that, they did check the other one, and they thought it was working just fine.
Right.
So you do have an extra part.
And thank you again I can't emphasize enough how hard Bob worked on that project. And there was just so many months of promises from all those people in that chain. It's like, okay, enough, So yeah, thank you.
Bob, when you retire, you can write a book on the boiler and make a lot of money.
It's right there for you, part of it, right? All the history.
Well, if it happens again, you can just tell them to check those 2 screws.
Check those 2 screws.
Yeah, right.
Yes, Carl. Oh, yes. Would you please ask a question on that?
So, Bob, maybe I received a statement from UHL this week. In looking at the invoices, the service dates date back to January of 2020 for work that was done on a CP4 pump repair and mixing valve replacement. Are those invoices to be paid, or do you know about anything with that?
Is it for about $3,000?
One is 3,300 and the other one is 3,600.
Huh. Okay. Can you send those to me? I think we'll look at it. My recollection of that was when we were meeting with the attorney, and we decided to go ahead and pay for the repairs rather than go through the attorney costs. But my recollection was that it was $3,500 total, not each for 3. So if you could send those to me, and we can. Steve Trudeau is working part-time again, so I have been in contact with him. We can talk through those and figure that out.
Okay.
Thor, is that your recollection as well after that meeting?
Yeah, and credit to Kyra, she asked, I forgot you asked me a couple days ago when we were discussing the meeting, so I'm thankfully remembered.
Adult supervision.
Every day.
Yeah.
Yes, I think Bob pursuing that for that amount of money, I think that man would be correct too, 3,500.
And I just sent them to you, Bob.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, so moving on to the punch list items, the connection between phase 1 and 2. KA is going to schedule a thermal imaging drone to come up and take a look at that. However, and they don't have a date for that yet, but it should be here soon. But Steve reminded me actually that there hasn't been any leaks since that initial leak inside the building. So Thor, can you verify that there hasn't been any more?
There has not been leaks, but I think we have some heat issues there at the seam. I think
Okay.
I think we're losing some BTU there.
Okay, well, so they are going to do a thermal imaging drone to come up and take a look at that. So that'll be the next step on that one.
Okay.
They did go up and tear apart the ceiling, I believe, in that area. Take a look, and everything looked like it was done correctly.
Yes.
So the next step will be to do the thermal imaging to see if there is heat loss.
Okay.
Jet Bridge, good news on the Jet Bridge as well is Ameribridge engineered a hood that is going to be placed over the rotunda and the transition frame area to keep the weather out. They have scheduled a install date of late January, early February. We have contacted them to try and get that to be moved up since I don't know that they're familiar with International Falls and the temperatures at that time of the year. However, I don't know that it's much better now. You know, I think they had a window of time there, but anyway, that's when they're going to be installing that, and you know, then we'll have to see if that will solve that issue.
Very good. Boy, Bob, you're just full of good news today.
Even though he was late.
After 2.5 years, we're there.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah, my last meeting, Bob, I can go home and sleep now.
Oh. Well, I don't know. It's just like everything is coming together. It feels pretty good after so long on these issues. So, we have to thank, I think, Chad Pike too. I think Chad has done a lot to push some of these issues through. So.
Yes, and stepping into the middle of the game too.
Yeah.
Tough. Yeah. Well done.
It's almost counterintuitive. You want to go for the most complicated solution, bring in the laser beams, sometimes it's just the simplest, stuff. I just fantastic.
Reminds me of the movie Young Frankenstein. When he's walking down the stairs, that thing will bang.
Those words. We're quoting Young Frankenstein now at the commission, which is great. Yeah.
We've digressed.
They're used to it. It's a Coochie County. It's a Coochie County thing.
Sometimes, or most of the time, it's the simplest fix.
Yeah, it's the truth.
And we always look way past it.
Unless it's humans.
Well,
Good work, Bob. Thank you.
You bet. Yeah, and then just the closeout documentation we're doing on that, so that is ongoing there in phase 2. Any other questions on the terminal or any other concerns? Okay, if there are none, that's all I have on the terminal update.
Thank you very much, Bob.
You bet. Thank you.
No questions for Bob?
Can I ask about the fireplace? Did the parts come for that? Yeah.
Nope. COVID. Can't manufacture the parts.
They're shut down.
Yeah. Sometime I'll bring. In fact, I'm trying to remember. I will bring the manual for the fireplace to the next commission meeting.
Maybe it's just 2 wires.
Sorry. Awesome. I'll be very interested in showing it to Brian in the corner there. It's like a flight manual for an F-16. It's fascinating. Speaking of simplicity, non-simplistic. But that was on my list.
It's a gas-fired fireplace.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's millions of them.
You would be better off. Go to Menards.
But
$124, whatever. Yeah. And my idea was to get the kindergarten class, take a big old piece of white cardboard paper, right? Then have them draw a fireplace and duct tape that baby right to the fence. And then just perfect. The people could walk away. They'd actually make comment, right? And you could say, well, that doesn't work like that. Well, it's cute.
You could.
There's a number of customers that ask, can you please turn the fireplace on?
Right, shiny objects.
Yeah. It happens almost every day.
Yeah.
Because they figure it throws out heat too, which doesn't.
So maybe Brian's point's well taken and just put an electric one.
What is it not? Gas?
It's gas and it has inductions and exhaust and sensors and And frankly, and that's a good point I'll share with Bob is that when we dug into it, Bob, I believe that the install possibly was quote unquote subpar. I'm being generous in that description.
For the fireplace?
Yeah, I think from the electrician's perspective, I think that maybe the instructions were not followed to that, which is fine. Throw that on the list with the generator and the boiler and something. The generator, we're doing fine.
Like the wire connections.
Yeah, the wire.
If I could just go back on boiler number 2, if you go to the first note that I have under it on the update, we do have there that the attorney advised to pay UO Company to complete the repairs for $1,200. So I'll take a look at it, but that's what we had decided back then. So I'm surprised to see two of them in the $3,000 range.
And I know I've paid a couple other bills, so I would have to look back at to see what's been paid, and these ones alerted me because the service was being done in January, February, and July, so it just kind of, now getting an invoice for those service dates seemed a little odd to me.
Yeah, if you could go back, Kyra, and take a look at everything you've paid to UO, and send that to me.
Yep.
So, your recommendation of paying this $1,200, is that something we need to act on?
Say that again.
Your recommendation of paying this $1,200, is that something we need to act on now?
No, so that was something that we talked about earlier. That was several months ago. That was back in July. But one of these is not for $1,200. Is that correct, Kyra?
Neither of them are. They're both for 3,000 something.
Yeah, so I think Kyra, if you can go back and look and see if you paid a $1,200 one already.
Yep.
And then these would be something in addition. So we'd have to. I don't have any recollection of saying that you should come up and make these repairs, other than that $1,200 one.
Stolen.
Okay. All right, anything else, Bob?
No, that's it.
Anything else under the report? We gotta get more exciting. We're boring because Chelsea's gonna take a nap. we gotta get more exciting or something. All right, I guess we'll move on then. Where are we, old business?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Oh, it's all fixed.
Old.
It's all fixed.
Hearing none, any new business?
I got one thing.
Yeah,
Go.
please.
Minnesota Energy was there yesterday with 3 trucks. I'm just wondering if there was a problem or is they doing maintenance?
Doing maintenance. Yeah, exactly.
Well, again, I certainly appreciate you two because you see all this stuff. And, you know, wouldn't be the same if we didn't have, eyes in the sky kind of thing. So many things go on. Yeah.
I also like to comment that from DGS Unified point of view, we just want to thank Florence people for the great job you guys are doing. Snow removal, sweeping around, getting on things right away. I've been pretty busy with that boiler, but when that roll-up door went to heck and everything, Jake was over right away, tearing it apart. I appreciate the service.
Thank you very much. It's very kind.
And they learned a lot about that door, didn't they?
2 batteries?
Yeah, 2, yeah. Oh, never mind.
Sounds familiar.
I can go into
wires,
Take it all apart, it's just 2 batteries.
It was 2, yeah. It's a similar deal. And then I don't want to digress too far, but just an interesting sidebar. The batteries looked identical to a 1.5 volt AA battery, and they're not. And they're just like, they're a millimeter off and a different voltage. I have no idea why. It did, right?
Crazy, yeah.
So we replaced the battery. It's still not working.
And I have one other thing.
Go.
And Bob, you might want to pay attention to this. When the jet bridge people are here, they might want to check that rotunda, because every time that rotunda is moving back and forth, it sounds like it needs a grease job, because it screeches like you can't believe every time that thing moves back and forth.
And,
and I know that we had a problem before where, I don't know if it was
and
a bearing
we have
that
it
went out or
lubricated
something.
and it's supposedly quote unquote plumb, and we call them and I'm with you.
Yeah.
The jet bridge, is that what it is?
Yeah, when that thing is moving from the in position out to the plane and back, that thing screeches like you wouldn't believe it. It just makes you wonder, is there something going on there that's gonna wear out or cause some problems down the road?
Got it screeches like this.
Yeah, I'll put a note in here on for that. I'll add a note for that, but Thor, when they're there, if you could mention that to them too.
Absolutely.
All right. Anything else? We'll segue into the manager's report.
Wonderful. Just wanted to say it was super nice that the Anderson family was here. What a blessing and a wonderful timing for them. Obviously, the Anderson family they've had a difficult year, shall we say, very tough. And so just reminded on a personal note again. I'm just reminded how much we miss Bob. It's just amazing, truly.
I can't believe he's gone.
Yeah, isn't it? It's really interesting. I use that term interesting. It's a big.
I was telling Ryan, you look at Bob, and he never got overweight. He always took care of himself.
You bet.
Life's too short. You just never know.
You never know. It's very, very true. Having said that, let's segue over to the EAS. Just reminding the group, I've been sending out some emails to the whole group with our communication with the DOT. Obviously, the great news is that they've approved the monies for the EAS contract. And just reminding the group, because I forget, that puts us from the last ES contract from $2,991,000. They increased that to $3,388,000 now for 2 years. Yeah, which is wonderful. And working with SkyWest and with Brian's team is wonderful. So it's just really great news. Follow up to that, I received on the Monday, December the 28th. From Michael Martin, one of the bosses at DOT, and I don't remember if I forwarded this to the group or not. I think I may have. Okay, yeah, and it just talks about really overly simplified that where we're at, and the industry's not coming back obviously as quickly as anticipated, and just some added bonuses to the program. So I won't bore you with the details, but I think everybody's got the information. That's fantastic. On another note. One of our plow trucks, to be specific, it's called an HT Oshkosh plow truck. Hard to believe that's our newest plow truck. It's 11 years old, and in that 11 years, the plow has quote unquote taken wear, and it's a 27-foot plow, which equates to 24 feet of cutting-edge poly plow, and just by years of use, it's quote unquote warping. It's getting worse. So I had the conversation with Sean last week, and we've started the process. Asking if we could use the Fed funds, 95.5, which would be great, to purchase a new plow and a new plow mount for that truck. The truck is great. It would be ridiculous to replace the truck and spend the money on the truck. But and I've talked to numerous people in the industry about trying to repair that plow, and virtually impossible. You'd spend a fortune. You're the expert, literally, to put heat on it and bend it, and it would take large equipment, and you'd have to replace and re-drill the poly, because if you the metal structure portion of the plow, you can quote unquote if you can bend that back, and there's all kinds of superstructure in there, to get it back true, and then you'd have to put new poly back on, because otherwise the poly it'll actually warp it back. So I just recommended the group that we would do that, and just put that on the project list for 2021 for the summer. So
we look to you for that, and I mean,
thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and local costs would be very, very small, right? Good. So we're working on that. Just letting the group know.
Good opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. On a lesser scale, I don't know how many light bulbs, how many on all our vehicles. We replace them continually, and we just made a decision to upgrade as they go out. We're upgrading all the snowmobile equipment, all emergency equipment, and with LEDs. And with the de-icing truck, we started that project about a month ago, 3 weeks, whenever it was. About a month ago, yeah. Incredibly cheap, crazy. $50, I don't know what it was. $50 for two, literally. And
It really helps to see
it is a dramatic, it is off the chart dramatic difference, isn't it? It's incredible. So,
Interesting.
Kyra will be seeing changes in the invoices will be coming through, and LED technology has come so far, in particularly for vehicles, that literally the cost is nothing.
You see more cars with them, that's for sure.
But just wanted to
And
show.
it just brightens up the whole plane on the ice, so you can actually see that you're getting to it.
Your team is, a couple of your team members have said, "Oh, we can see now."
Yeah, but if Jake pulls up, I can blind the hell out of the flight crew.
Yeah.
I raise that bucket up and shine right in their eyes.
There's a possibility that the flight crew is a little bit ornery, that maybe there's a little payback for the LED lights, but I didn't say that, okay? So, but anyway, that's where it's at. On another note, and I realize this is an airport meeting, but I must give credit, and I'm asking a question too. It is my understanding that through the vaccine distribution in Minnesota, that possibly that we were kind of left out, and then maybe some folks on the county side got involved and said, set us some vaccine, something of this nature. I haven't heard. Yeah, interesting. I believe it's true. Someone in the group on the county side of medical did great work.
Oh, it came through public health then.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
We in United Falls, Minnesota, Cushing County, 14,000 people in the county, and with the great what's it called? Equitable vaccine distribution. There you go. Thank you very much. Which means if you're doing in Minnesota and you have a very small percentage of quote unquote death, that guess what? You get off the checkbox. And I believe someone from that team contacted folks in Minneapolis City.
We meet with them every week, but I mean, the airport's part of the county and the city, so I can see where that they would include.
But wherever the credit is, credit due. That's wonderful.
What a nightmare dispersing this.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And then you get, 10, 15 million people with one injection. Then you gotta go back 3 weeks and follow up. To try to track this is gonna be, there's gonna be so many people are gonna get to one shot, they're gonna say the heck with it, they're gonna move on. So it's just gonna be wasted.
Well,
So
it
I mean,
depends
there's
on-
gonna be,
Depends on what shot you get to. One is 21 days for the second one, one's 28 days for the
Yeah.
second one.
and then the other one is one shot. So,
Well,
but
there's one.
anyways, I mean,
There is one that's just one shot.
yeah, the Moderna, the new one is just,
Yeah,
I think
that's
it's
my
one.
understanding.
Okay.
But I mean, it's gonna be just a logistic nightmare trying
Yeah.
to follow this. And,
Track it.
oh,
It's
it is the political football of the day now. It's getting kicked back and forth the last 3 days. It's unbelievable. If you watch any news.
And we really don't have any input on the type that's brought into the community then.
Sure.
Nope. I'm sure we'd probably advise her, I would imagine.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I find it fascinating that there's a group of people with quote unquote equitable, it's like, okay guys, here's the top tier, here's the elderly, here's the medical people, go from there,
To Brian's point, a lot of people just aren't geared to go back for a second round, they'll do it once. And so then I suppose it's not effective.
correct.
Interesting.
But anyway, thank you all in the meeting for an incredible year here, and a lot of struggles and a lot of hard work, and I just appreciate you all. Kyra, thank you, and great. Just got to keep pushing, keep your shoulder down, keep shoving, and hoping and praying that 21 we quote unquote turn the corner. But thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Hopefully they open up the border so we start getting our Canadian customers back.
Oh, yeah. We're on, by the way, if I digress one more time, I thought we were down 99%. Well, I just found out a couple days ago, we're only down 97%. So it isn't as bad as I thought we were.
There you go.
Yeah, so there's 2%.
Be nice to get to our
2%
camp.
means a lot when it's interest you gotta pay.
Exactly. Believe me.
Yeah. I won't know what to find when I go back to the islands. All right. Thank you, Thor.
Yes, and thank you to the SDH team, Bob and Charles. Thank you very, very much.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
So we'll move on. Secretary's report.
What do you got?
Adult supervision.
Yeah, adult supervision. Yeah.
We didn't.
The brains of the organization.
We didn't get an employment sheet. How are employments doing?
There should be one.
Yeah,
there.
Is there-
I got it online.
Yep,
It's not colored,
Oh.
not colored.
No wonder.
It
Yeah.
printed
It's in
one.
Crayola.
Okay, yeah.
It's in the
Pull it up on your
Made the
computer.
budget little.
There it is.
It just printed funny. But employments for this year are, we are where we are. But I did update it, for the FAA totals for 2019. So for 2019 over 2018, we were up an additional 3.01%. So
Well,
we were doing really good until COVID hit.
Yeah, yeah. It'll come back.
Yeah.
But what do we do right now? 2 points?
2 flights and then 1 day, and then 2 days we have 1 flight.
Okay.
Tuesday and Saturday's one flight.
There you go.
It's actually been jockeyed with, last week and this week. There's another, on the 17th, we're only gonna get 1 flight on that Sunday.
You know,
But that's all COVID related, and I think there's a letter in your packet that they put out about, they extended till, March of 21 or something, about the fact that because of COVID and EAS, they could modify the schedules based on numbers. I read it in,
Yep.
last night.
and they had a problem with one of the older planes, and they sent up one of the new.
Yeah,
900s, yep.
200 breakdown the other day, and they didn't have another 200 to replace it, so they called us and said, can we handle a 900? Oh, we can handle it, but, it's, the tail end is way higher, so we had to put a ladder on our trailer so I could get up into the bin to get the bags, but we
Yes.
were able to handle it. Plus, gotta go a lot higher in the bucket to the ice.
Correct.
Nice plane though, I
Nice.
told my boss, I said it'd be nice if they upgrade and we get those all the time and get a belt loader here.
What's the capacity?
Oh, okay.
It's an 86 passenger versus 50.
That's right.
I thought maybe Max 8 came in.
Yeah. Sun Country gets them here.
Well, as long as you brought up Sun Country.
Yes, please.
It would sure be nice if Sun Country and our company, Unified, could
Get along.
come to terms
Yes.
and get our Laughlin flights back.
Big time.
I know they contacted you to see if you could do it,
Right.
And I know Bemidji, they found a way to do it down there, and Hibbing is Sky West, so it's a different company, so Bemidji and Hibbing are getting your Laughlin flights.
They are.
But we just keep hoping that Unify and Sun Country come to an agreement,
Absolutely.
get those back.
Why don't you start your own company?
Huh?
Why don't you start your own company and approach the airport with them for a contract?
Perfect.
I think Thor and I could have a conversation, and we could do something, and we could get Sun Country.
There you go.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think it costs a lot of money to buy the
I
equipment.
think we could find some people.
Yeah.
We need this. You can still use this because Airport Commission owns the jet bridge and everything. It's
Absolutely.
a matter that you and I could find the people to man that
Mhm.
and a couple pieces of equipment to get the bags out to the plane. I think we could work something out.
We need those Canadian customers along.
I was just gonna say, we need the border open.
But yeah, right now it's not worth making that move until the border opens.
Good thought.
Excellent.
Well, not to digress here, but nationwide, employments are really climbing, aren't they?
They're climbing as we speak. Yeah.
Okay.
Still, we're not anywhere near where we were before, but they are climbing. Yeah.
I know that, and just,
But I think they're gonna take a hit with that UK new variant.
You bet.
Kelly was just telling me last night that Aruba just got 39 new cases. And it wasn't from people like us going there, it was from residents going to the Netherlands, coming back, bringing it back.
Bet.
So the chances are they're probably going to Aruba back.
so last night watching TV, just, I don't wanna go digress too far, but I was kind of curious because it sounds like what they're talking about now is setting up a system where you have to have a test before you can get the ticket or go on.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
something that they're looking at.
And what's interesting is that statistically, the airlines, the airplanes, it's proven that it's probably the safest place to be. There's virtually no contamination. There's no
We spray this whole place down
every time.
every time for a
You
plane.
bet.
And we hand clean every seat and table on that plane and then spray it down.
Exactly.
So it's clean.
It's
It's
definitely.
sanitized.
And then you get some ding dong that refuses to wear a mask, and he knows they're gonna get thrown off the flight,
Yeah, you know.
but they refuse.
Yeah, well,
I was,
every customer that goes to that station up there, first question on their mind, is, or that they're asked is, have they been exposed? Do they have any symptoms? And do you agree to wear a mask on the plane?
Pretty basic.
So they're asked that. Do you agree to wear a mask while on board that? So,
but
and
once
then
you're,
they get on there and take it off.
and once you're in the air, it's kind of hard to take them
Right.
on,
Right.
and take the person off. But
Yeah.
anyway, we digress again.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Kyra, the floor is yours.
Oh,
It was.
Oh, she's over here in the corner.
I thought you were done. Sorry.
Dad.
She has patience.
Yeah.
Who's
I
that
don't
guy?
have anything else other than a letter that was received in regards to our airport audit, which the management or PennDOT just basically said there's no changes in the funding. It's basically due to some of the findings in our audit, which I believe all of that has been taken care of. It was just this during this year instead of in 2019 before 2019 ended, but it didn't make it through. So, but I believe everything, it should be in compliance and we should be good now.
So we made it through another year and probably won't have to go to prison.
That's great.
Okay,
Very good.
that's so far, that's good. All right, we have anything else come before this group?
I just, from a personal perspective, I traveled a couple weeks ago, and it was actually kind of nice because the airport's
Empty.
were, but on the way back, Minneapolis was pretty active. And then they space you out in the aircraft,
Yeah.
so it's not crowded. It's not everybody jamming everything in the overhead and taking forever to get off. And it was actually a pleasant experience.
Did they put a space between you and your wife?
Yes.
Which has advantages for both teams, right?
There's pros and cons.
Exactly.
Those earphones in,
You
and
didn't tell her she could sit next to you if she wanted to?
she didn't want it.
She's fine. Yeah.
Listen, before we adjourn, I
Yes.
suppose this will be Brian's last airport
Brian.
My
meeting for
official one,
now.
yeah.
We're gonna miss you.
I've given him accolades every meeting we've been at, and I'm
bet.
sincere about it. Couldn't get a better person to work with. He was wonderful. So,
Well, you know, I remember 8 years ago when Chuck left.
Yeah.
Chuck left, you know, and Chuck put all those many years in the airport, and I requested to get on this commission for learning experience. And this is just like getting on the public health board. It takes you about 5 years before you even know what the acronyms are.
yeah.
I mean, it is very
It's so
complicated.
true.
So, yeah, I mean, but, you know, I wanted to say something when the Andersons was here, but, you know, I know Bob for so many years, and we had our good times and our bad times, but I always respected him, and he knows more about airports than I think anybody in the state of Minnesota, and I marveled at that. So, anyway, I wanted to tell Carol that, but I'll get a chance at that time. Thank you, folks. Enjoyed it. I'm officially retired as of today. I have no more meetings.
Good for you.
You know what? This morning I got up and I almost didn't want to come. It felt kind of good. Commissioner Hanson, I told the board yesterday, Kita board, that he told me once you get off, once you retire, your mind goes back to normal.
Yeah, that's why mine's so screwed up.
And I think it's fitting that Bob gave us all that good news, and Brian can go out with the generator being fixed, and the
Yes.
boiler, and
Yes, I can sleep. You can sleep.
By the way, you know, Brian's brother Chopper, remember, was on the airport
Oh.
commission. We've got that picture in the board.
Oh.
Yeah, it's in the boardroom.
Didn't they say?
The McBride
It's not
brothers.
on the wall yet.
Yeah. Yes.
That was the
Yeah.
wetland issue.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
we were out there on we were gonna, I can't remember what the cost was for an acre, it was ridiculous.
18,000.
24, 20, I can't remember, it was a large.
And so we went out there, probably one of the highest spots out there, we're standing right on this, it was a mark test.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how crazy this was.
Yeah.
And we had to pay all that money just for, in fact, do you remember they cut the trees and then got in a big tiff and the stumps were still there?
Yep.
You talk about a danger to an aircraft sliding off a runway.
Yeah.
And in the stupidity of the government, hello, Thor should have had someone out there taking those out immediately, we couldn't do a thing, remember that?
Right.
I'll never forget that. That's where I learned that government cannot be trusted.
Ever.
Anyway, anything else? If not,
Set the meeting,
go ahead, please.
set the meeting for next.
Yes,
Maybe I don't remember, we already set it up.
whatever Kyra says we're doing.
27?
I can live with that.
Yeah. February 27th, 8 a.m.
It'll be January.
Happy New Year's, you guys. Thank you.